Welcome to the Right People, Right Places podcast. I'm your host, Raul Mendoza, and I have the pleasure of having my teammate and partner here, Johnny Sanchez. He joined us back in January of this year, and he is helping us on a variety of recruiting, and him and I are teaming up with our fractional team to do a lot in recruiting in the areas of construction, engineering, and manufacturing. It's been quite the journey, right, Johnny?
It's been crazy, man. It's quite the journey.
But lots of fun, and I wanted to introduce the world to Johnny and also introduce him as my teammate here and my partner in crime as we're doing some great things for our customers, and thought it'd be great to have him on the podcast to share his story and share how he basically got into recruiting, give you a little sneak peek of his background and what he's done and what kind of led him to joining Rapido and making things happen here with us. So yeah, without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Johnny. Tell us your story. Tell us your background, where you came from, and how things happened here with you joining.
All right. Um, I think the best way to start saying that is, and it's something that most of people, even recruiters, will see a lot in posts on LinkedIn, is that you don't choose recruiting. For some reason, recruiting chooses you. You end up in that space for some reason. It's not like you go to college for it or you decide one day you wake up and it's like, oh man, I'm gonna be a recruiter. It just happens. So the same thing
So
happened to
true.
me here. I come from a background, it's diverse. I ended up college. I was sound engineer. I was a musician. I started working doing audio and video for a video production company. Then I moved to a tech company that they do voiceovers in videos and design and all of these digital creations for customers. I was doing there, I enter as a customer support agent. I move up to leadership positions within operations. And there I found my passion for operations. I found that I like to think in systems. I found that I find joy solving repeatable problems and just finding ways to expedite processes, to not reinvent the wheel every time, and to save time, basically. That's what I
Mm.
love the most, just solve repeatable problems in that way. And then another thing that I found a passion for is leadership. That's always been something in my heart too, is just talking to people, having connection, real connections with them, understanding, seeing like their superpowers, if you will, and then
Mm.
helping them develop them even more. So after 6 years of being a part of this company, I got to a point where I was literally praying to God and I was like saying, hey, God, I want to move somewhere else. I want to do something else. Um, Part of my introduction, I am the 2 years husband. We're a very young family here, and we're as we go to a third year here in November, we want to grow our family
Woo!
too. So I was like, God, we want to have kids, we want to grow, we want to do a lot of things, do something. And long story short, I one day I had a dream. It had to do with recruiting, it had to do with helping people, it had to do with allowing people to grow even more. And I was like, I have no idea of recruiting. I don't nothing about that space. But I knew this guy, Raul Mendoza. I met this guy like 10 years ago when I was in the US studying music and worship. And I was like, he knows this space. And for some reason, he started to show up like crazy on my feed on LinkedIn. Like his videos, his messages, like he's funny and you'll see him. And if you don't follow this guy, just go right now and follow him. But
Click.
I started to see him a lot. And I was like, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me, but I have questions about recruiting. Can we just talk? And he was like, of course I remember you. Let's just talk. And we started talking and he during the conversation, he was like, "Oh, your profile looks interesting." He was being a recruiter with me. He was like, "I'll look at your profile. I'll look at your CV, your experience. You have this background." He was mentioning that his team needed operations. He wanted to scale. He wanted to see things for the future, and he wanted to
Mm,
prepare. And he saw that thing on my profile, and he was like, "Potentially, we can do something." Potentially
mm-hmm.
turn into a couple of weeks. This was December when we would have this conversation, and then by January we decided that it was fit, it was good, and it made sense for us to work together. And I just made the jump. So I switched from this other place. I landed here, no experience in recruiting whatsoever, but a lot of mentorship, a lot of learning, a lot of balls, man. Because talking to people on the phone, that requires you to have some courage. And I was
Yes.
just doing it. And I was scared. I was anxious. I was not sure what I was doing at all. But after a lot of those things, I'm starting to get more confident on a lot of these things. And it's a journey that I enjoy. Like right now, I feel joy for the things that are happening on this space. So this is like a little bit of how I landed into this space here at Rapido.
I love it. We're so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you, Johnny. It's definitely been a ride here these last 6, 7 months, and we've learned a lot. I know that Rapido has benefited significantly from your operations thinking, and you know, just being able to help us identify technologies and leverage technologies and systems and processes to help us do what we do best as recruiters, which is to connect with people. And, you know, you and I, we've had these conversations at length and uh, frequently that at the end of the day, the best recruiting is done when you're able to make a connection and build a relationship. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about the power of relationship in business, in technology, in building business and leadership. Relationships at the heart of that, right? Like you can't have successful business without the ability to build good relationships. Without good relationships, that's the bedrock of good recruiting. And so being able to marry those things up is very, very important in being successful, right? And so I appreciate your thinking in this, but you know, obviously in bringing you on, you know, sometimes, you know, I think in our recruiting journey or just in our journey in life, there's people that just call things out in you, you know, and challenge you. And, you know, I appreciate that you've received um, those things from me well. And I think, you know, just to share with our audience that we need people. We need people. We need people that can not only call things out in us, but also um, challenge us. And there being, you know, a back and forth of an exchange of ideas and challenge. And I think that's one of the things that I've appreciated most about having you here. It's not like you've not just been a passenger to my ideas and what I think. You've actually challenged and brought your ideas to the table and um, taken what I've had and made it better. So I appreciate that, and I think that's the way it needs to be. You know. So anyway, this podcast isn't about me and what I think. It's about you. You're on the spotlight here. So that's an incredible story, and I'm excited about that story continuing here in the days, months, and years ahead. Um, so another question for you is, you know, what are some major learnings so far? There's so much that's come to you, hot and heavy,
Yeah, man.
since you started. It's an understatement. We won't go into all the details here, but you know, lots of learning, lots of changes, um, and in a very short period of time. And you know, what would you say are your major learnings so far? And you've alluded to some of this already, but just to open it up and see if there's anything else that kind of bubbles up in your thinking that you'd like to share.
For me, it comes to two sides, and I want to make an analogy with my brain. Like half of it is thinking in systems, and then the other half is thinking relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So my major like learnings here is it's not only about the tools and it's not only about the communication. You need to find a way to blend these two things
Mm.
to help you achieve your goals and not only your goals, but the client's goals. And I'm starting to learn that client is not only the company that is like working with us, but also the candidates. Like these
Mm-hmm.
two people, these two segments are our clients. We are serving them both. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's our job to figure out how to best serve them with these two mindsets, if you will. So system side is, there are a lot of tools and like they are
Yeah.
growing and being created by the second, man. Like AI is coming
Absolutely.
out, resourcing and I don't know, networking and reaching out to people and sequences. All of this is happening and you should be able to leverage that thing, but don't fall into the trap of following the shiny object every time something new comes up. You need to learn that it's about you using the tools which is going to bring success and not the tool by itself will bring success to you, because I can have the every single new app
Mm-hmm.
or tool to source candidates, but if I don't know how to talk to them afterwards, it's going to be messed up. So it's about
Mm-hmm.
build systems that can be sure to replicate the results that you need. And when it comes to recruiting passive candidates, which is something that we do here, is more
Yeah.
about how do you get in front of people, but the tool is just going to put you in front of them. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's when the second part comes in, and it's the communication part. You need to be able to talk to them to
Mm.
make them feel felt, seen, and understood. You need to make them feel like you are caring for them, you understand what they need, and you're going to help them. Again, this works for both candidates and clients because with clients, we've had a lot of conversations with our hiring managers in you're picking up a lot of nuances that I haven't picked on those conversations. You pick up when they're happy with their results, when they are not, when they're
Mm-hmm.
hiding something, but they don't want to tell us about that. And then you're bold enough to go and have that hard conversation and be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is not working. What's happening? We want to work with you. And that's communication. You need to hone
Yeah.
those skills to pick up on those things. Again, a tool is not going to do that. Like AI is not going to do that just yet. Who knows? In a couple of months, maybe, or years. But right now, they don't because it's
Mm-hmm.
about cadence, it's about pacing, it's about micro signals in the conversation. That's also
Mm-hmm.
why having like FaceTime, even virtual, is important. I can make a smirk. I can just throw I can do something and you'll pick up
Yeah.
on that. And that's the important things. Same thing with candidates. When you're talking with them, it's even harder sometimes because we're using the phone. I'm not screening candidates through a video. I'm doing it through
Mm-hmm.
phone and I need to be present. I need to be there with them.
Totally.
I need to understand what's their motivation. Are they doing this for their family? Do they want to grow their family? Their
Mm-hmm.
kids are going off to college. Their wife, she is doing something and then the husband cannot relocate because she's doing something great on their current area. You need to pick up on those things and have meaningful conversations. It's not about me pitching a role because that happened at the beginning and man, I had no results because of that. People would just hang up on me. One guy, he told me like, oh, get out, leave me alone. I was like, I didn't even got to the middle of my speech, man. Just and then it's not about a script, it's not about speech, it's about having a real conversation. When you know
Totally.
that maybe this will bring value to the person and you share it in a way that they feel that you're doing that for them and not just trying to use them. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. People think like you see them as a paycheck or something, but they're not.
Right.
They're people. We need
Yep.
to talk with people, we need to understand people. So, again, all of these things summing up is use systems, use processes, use tools, but you are using those things. They're not using you and they won't guarantee results. And then on the other side, what I think is the most important part in recruiting is hone your communication skills. The better you are communicating, the better results you're going to have. I'm not saying you're going to fill jobs faster. I'm saying you're going to have meaningful relationships that are going to last, not just for this one role, nor for this one client, nor for this one candidate, but are gonna last for longer and you're gonna have relationships, which I think is a huge advantage to have in this space.
Absolutely. Man, so much there. Oh my gosh. I feel like we could go in so many different directions with what you shared. I think from the importance of systems, the importance of systems thinking, but also that how that's just an in and of itself. Like the reason we have systems and operations is to tee up the relationship, and that balance is important. And learning the art of conversation, learning to actually connect with people, that's nuanced. That's not just following a script. That's not just buzzwords. It's actually just getting to know people. And I think it's so great to hear that from you. I kind of think of you as like the next generation of recruiting, and it's like to be able to have that balance re- of what, I need to connect with people, but what can we do so that I can better connect with people? And I think what you're sharing is absolutely vital. We're foolish not to use systems and technology and not to explore that, but let's make the end game relationship, because at the end of the day, that's the sticky, that's the thing that's going to make things sticky. Like recruiting is all about timing. You never know when someone's ready to make a shift and a move. You never know when the right opportunity is going to come about. So again, the common denominator there is relationship. Do you have a connection with someone? Do you know intrinsically what their hopes, dreams, and aspirations are? Um, and position that they're looking for. It's much more than just getting a paycheck. It's about finding that work that's going to be meaningful. And so I just think I, I love the perspective. I love what you shared there. I think it's so valuable for people to hear this, especially in this day and age. For someone that came from operations, leading teams, being around technology, and then moving into a very relational space that is undergoing one of the biggest changes in its history. And there's
Yeah.
just a tech revolution that's happening within recruiting. But to be able to come in and not get swept up by the current of new technology and realize, you know what, this is only a means to an end. Technology is only a means to an end, and that end is relationship. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I guess what else can I ask you here? What else do you want to share? Is there anything I feel like I went on my own rant, which I do that sometimes because you got me excited about some ideas there. But
Yeah, you're fired up.
what would you share with people interested in becoming a recruiter at this time in history? What would you share with them as valuable advice or wisdom, um, as they kind of approach the idea of potentially getting into recruitment? What advice or perspectives would you offer them to help them make that decision, or to help them navigate what it is to be a recruiter in this day and age?
Uh, okay, that's a hard one because I'm not on the other side just yet. I'm learning in the process, but I think the main thing. Let me try and I'll try and nail three things. So the first one for me would be know that you will never be ready to do it,
Yep.
because that's one thing that stops people in everything in life. To be honest,
Yep.
you're waiting for the perfect time to do something, and you'll never have the perfect time. Like you'll never have the perfect pitch. You will never have the perfect hiring manager. You will never have the perfect economy. You will never have the right president in the country to do. You will never have everything that it's perfect. Yet you need to step out in boldness and just jump. Take the leap of faith. Second thing is find a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be someone that you know personally, or it can be through something like this. What I
Mm-hmm.
mean by that is have been a great mentor to me. I've learned a lot through you. And even though we've been working now for 6 months, I'm still coming to you with questions. What do you think about this? I want to have a discussion about this situation. How should I handle this situation? How should I handle this conversation? I'm still asking, and you're being my mentor. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons I'm growing exponentially fast in this space because I have someone like you teaching me. I mean, you have 20 plus years in the industry. The vast amount of knowledge that you have, and not only that, but the intuition behind everything that you do still amazes me. So having someone with that to mentor you, it's huge. Now, if you're not lucky as me to have a role in your life, man, go out, look into podcasts, look into YouTube, look into Real People, Real Places. Like all of these things, they can teach you in a way. It's like you're having a conversation with them. You're like being a fly in the wall while these people are having conversations. And most likely, you'll be able to take things from that conversation with yourself. And then third thing is do not be afraid to fail.
Mm,
One of the first things that you told me was, I told you actually, dude, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to break things. I don't want to fail a lot. And you were like, I don't care. Go out, break things, fail a lot, but learn. Don't just stay down there. You have to
yep.
learn and you gotta get up and not do that again. And that has been tremendously a huge help for me because on those conversations and the phone calls, I was being anxious about the person. Is he gonna pick up? Is he gonna talk to me? Is he gonna be mad because I'm cold calling? Is he gonna think that this is not relevant to them? And then on top of that, I was having the pressure of my mentor and my partner being here like, oh, you don't mess up. I was like, man, this is too much. But then you take off this responsibility and you allow yourself to fail while you learn about those things, you can be better when you go onto the other side. So for me, those things would be don't expect things to be perfect, just do it.
Hmm.
Find mentors, even if it's in person or through another tools and resources, and fail and learn. That would be it.
So good. Oh my gosh. I have nothing to say to that other than it's so flippin' good. It's so flippin' good. I think that's just exactly it. That's the mindset. I think there's so much there for people that have been doing recruiting for as long as I have to folks that are just considering and entering and engaging in the possibility of going into recruiting. I think there's so much. The truth is, it doesn't matter if you have 2 months or 20 years of recruiting experience, things are changing and evolving so quickly that if you don't have a growth mindset and you're not in a place to always be learning and asking questions and curious, you're going to stagnate just like in any other industry.
Yeah.
And if you ever think you arrived and you've learned it all, you've got problems. You got bigger problems that I don't know that we have enough time to discuss on this podcast. So thank you so much for sharing, Johnny. That's first of all, it's encouraging to me to hear these things, and I know it's going to be encouraging and helpful for those that are listening in on this episode to hear kind of that journey in recruiting and the mindset that you need to have and the mentality to grow. And I think what you shared translates across professions, not just recruiting, but any profession that you find yourself in. So thank you for sharing. One last question, and then we'll wrap it up here. Um, well, it's not really a question. I guess I'm just going to bring it up because I think it's a fun thing about you. Uh, so, one of the things that I learned about Johnny is he has a cow. Can you tell our audience about your cow?
Man, I was not expecting that at all. Well, it turns out that my father-in-law, he has like his ranch and he
Mhm,
has cattle. And once, like a few months ago, we were just visiting them because they live in another city, like 3 hours away
mhm,
from where we are. They live,
mhm,
and they have like these beautiful green pastures, and they have like these cows and all of these things. So I was like, oh man, one day, I would like to have one of those. It was like a comment. I
mhm.
just boom put it out there, and then months later, um, we get a call, and we didn't pick up, funny enough. Then he sent us a voice note and he sent us a picture. And the picture was the cow. It was just a baby cow, man. It looks like it just came out. And he was like, "Hey, my name is Lilin, and I want to be a part of your family. I want you to take care of me. I want you to help me grow, and I will be a blessing to your home. And then when time comes, I will serve my purpose, and I will be a blessing to you. So for me, it was like,
Love it.
oh wow, this is amazing. So this man, he gave 3 cows to each one of his girls. And well, my wife, me, we just got one. We got lucky.
So fun. That's an interesting fact about Johnny. If you didn't know, he has a cow, and cows eat a lot of grass. There you go. There you go. I just thought I'd bring that up because I thought it was fun, and just something interesting about you and who you are. So probably could have been done earlier on in the episode, but hey, you know what? It's all
Come
about
on,
relationship. You don't know where the conversation is going to take you
end up with
sometime,
a
and
happy note.
yeah, there you go. Lileen the cow. Well, anyway, if you've tuned in this far in this episode, I just want to thank you for listening in to this episode of the Right People, Right Places podcast. Johnny, it was a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for sharing your journey, your story, and insights for those that are looking to get into recruiting and also those that are looking to just have a fresh perspective on their profession and career. I appreciate all the wisdom you dropped, all the insights you dropped today. And for those who want to continue learning more, and we're going to have more episodes rolling out here. We just wrapped up season 1, but we are kicking up season 2 of the Right People, Right Places podcast here. We're going to have people like Johnny, other recruiters in the space that are doing big things. And we're going to have also leaders of organizations, CEOs, sharing their secrets and their ideas on building cultures of excellence, companies built on relationship integrity, and folks that are HR practitioners that are doing big things in the place in the human resource space. We're going to have just a variety of different guests. So continue to tune in. If you want to go ahead and click the follow button here, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and a variety of other platforms. Those are some of the more active ones that we're on. Give us a follow. You could find this podcast wherever you get podcast, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple. Feel free to find us on there. We are there. So thank you so much. And that's all. That's all we have today. Recruiter Rapper out. Wait, I didn't even mention anything about the Recruiter Rapper, but here we go.
All right, thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure.